again with another daily Bitcoin DCA because USD just ain't the way. It's currently September 16th, 2025. We sitting at block height 914,985. One Bitcoin will run you about 116,732 USD. One USD will get you about 857 sats. The network still running smooth, still getting stronger, still got our average time of about 10 minutes, and our hash rate has been hitting all-time highs, meaning the security of the system is just constantly getting stronger. Let's take a look at our Z-score. Bitcoin's metric letting us know if we're hitting the overbought area or the oversold, and we're currently not necessarily in the middle, but we're at a point to where it's going to have to make a decision on where it wants to go. So this website is a little behind on the Z-score update. You can see it says September 15th and we're in the 16th of September. So it's a little behind, but all good. We're sitting at a Z-score of 2.29. I'm waiting to do my mass buy, my big buys when we get down here. And then I'm also just doing my daily DCA. And so yeah, so we're sitting in the twos. We've been sitting in the twos for quite a bit. If we take a look at our 200-week moving average, this blue line right here, this gives us a good signal for Bitcoin's floor. As you see, every time that we've hit this blue line, Bitcoin price either bounced off of it, or if it dipped below it, it didn't dip very far below it. Right here is the biggest dip that we had, and then you see we quickly recovered and then kept on moving up. So we can use the 200-week moving average as a good floor price, meaning, you know, based off of history. Obviously, we know things could always change in the future, but based off of the history that we have so far since 2009, the 200-week moving average has proved to held pretty tough. And so right now we're sitting at 52,559, and we just want to keep seeing this blue line just slowly keep grinding its way up, which it's been doing. If we take a look at some of our technicals, on our weekly chart, our RSI is at 60. So the RSI is a good indicator if, you know, it's used in the stock world. If a stock is overbought or oversold, anything under 30 is considered oversold. Anything over 70 is considered overbought. We're currently sitting at 60. And as you can see, this green line here is our 20 EMA, and the blue line is our 50 EMA, and the 20 has held pretty strong as support so far. We dipped below, touched the 50 right here, and then it bounced. So, and then we hit that 20 EMA again. And if we take a look over at BITI, which is our Bitcoin inverse, our short, this is where I'm putting my big buy. You know, instead of getting some yield from a treasury or putting it in gold or putting it in SPY or anything like that, since I'm waiting for this bottom to do my mass buys, in theory, once we do get in this area wherever Bitcoin price is at, this should have run up. And this is on the weekly. Weekly is showing us it's about to hit that extremely oversold area. Like I said, anything under 30 is considered really oversold. And if we take a look at the daily, we have a lot of gaps to fill to the upside. And like I said, if we take a look out on this ETF, we got a lot of room to run up. And that's simply because this is an ETF inverse. So we're currently in a Bitcoin bull market, meaning, you know, price has been running up. So when price runs up, this is the opposite of what Bitcoin does. So this goes up when Bitcoin price goes down. This goes down when Bitcoin price goes up. So that's that. So let's take a look at my buys. So here's the first one. Like I said, this is a screenshot from Coinbase. I already went over why I'm using them many times. So I added the accumulated section. This one is new. I didn't know what I wanted to do, but anyways, on this buy, as we can see, my limit price was 115,815, but it ended up getting filled at a little bit better than what I wanted, which is great. And this is how much Bitcoin I was able to accumulate off of 99 cents, and 1 cent went to the fee. So as you can see, got that all in there. And then if we take a look right here, this is what's sitting in the balance. So far I've deposited $7 US. This is day 7 of doing this. And the account is sitting at $6.93. So even if you take the 1 cent fee, and we know the first one was a lot higher, we're, at about break even if we're looking at it in terms of dollar, but our Bitcoin accumulation is going up. So that's the more important part. So, obviously we're still on a dollar standard, in the world. So obviously dollar does still matter until it's something else, or until it's a Bitcoin standard. So they're both important, right? We want to accumulate as much Bitcoin as we can. And then obviously we want to see this value go up as well, because, not everyone is able to just buy Bitcoin and then store it away from forever. Some people, need it for whatever the case, but you need to look at Bitcoin as a savings tool, right? It's your savings. And, just like if you were to invest in gold or, whatever you consider your savings, you're not supposed to be touching that. You're supposed to let that accumulate. You have your emergency fund for your emergencies. You have your savings that you're supposed to continuously add to, whatever you do, daily, weekly, bi-weekly, monthly, whatever the case may be. But you need to keep letting those things compound. You need to constantly be adding to your emergency fund. You need to constantly be adding to your savings account. You need to constantly be increasing your income, and you need to constantly be decreasing your debt, right? That's how you get out of the rat race. And when you do invest, you want to invest in hard assets. So that way, when they print all this money for this bill to help these people out, to help this bank out, to help the economy out, when those hard assets run up, gold, real estate, Bitcoin, you want to be playing in the game. And right now, real estate is just very unrealistic for a lot of people to get into, based on median incomes, based on median home values, and based on what people have in their savings account, and based on how much debt people are in, and based on what unemployment rates are, right? All those numbers are looking terrible. If you look at those numbers, it would tell you that we're in a recession. There, a lot of people think recession back to the 1920s and stuff, where people were, starving, having to eat soup, water soup and stuff. Everything changes in time. Recessions look different. Wars look different. We don't fight wars the same way. Recessions don't look the same way. So if you look at the numbers, look at how many people are unemployed, look how many people are struggling, technically we are already in a recession, but the media and the news would like to tell you otherwise. But all we have to do is, sometimes you just got to step back from all that, use your brain, look at the numbers. The numbers will tell you everything you need to know, but that's a different topic. Okay. And then, so we see all our numbers match up from everything that I already did. Let's go look at BITI. Remember, the red was when the market was closed. So we've deposited or contributed $7. The value is currently sitting at $7. So I added the purchased, because I already had accumulated over here. So I added the purchase. So this is when I made my $1 purchase of BITI. This is how much BITI I was able to accumulate or to get at that purchase. This is how much I've accumulated totally. And let's see, here's the buy on that. I explained why I was using Robinhood already. We've got all that out the way, so we don't got to keep repeating that every video. So here's the $1 buy. This is the price that I was able to buy at. This is how many shares. So everything matching up. That's how many shares I got. Boom, matches up. Dollar. All right, we good. And then here's the screenshot of the account. The value is $7. The current USD value $7. Here's how many shares I've accumulated. Here's how many shares I've accumulated. And my average cost is $18.18. So like I said, I'm accumulating right where I want to be accumulating this. If this, if this was up towards the top, I wouldn't want to be buying the ETF, this ETF inverse if it was at the top. So I'm buying in at great numbers. I always tell you guys, once you accumulate your Bitcoin with whatever exchange you prefer to use, after you accumulate about 0.01 Bitcoin on the exchange, to get it off into your hardware wallet of choice, I always highly recommend ColdCard. This is how their website looks like. This is their new one, the ColdCard Q. This is the older version, the MK4. Both will work and do the job just fine. You're just able to do a lot more with the ColdCard Q. It has a lot more cooler features that you can use, and then it also has this cool keyboard. And so it just has more features and more cool things that you can do. But for the most part, the important part, getting your Bitcoin off an exchange onto a hardware wallet that you can trust, you would be fine with either one of these. So these are the only two that they offer as of right now. And then I'm always telling you guys to use Sparrow in pair with ColdCard. And Sparrow is going to be a desktop wallet. And this is how this looks like. SparrowWallet.com is their website. You can go on here, get some more information about them. Plenty of tutorials out there on how they work and how they operate. And then for the mobile wallet side of the things, and these all go in pair with your ColdCard. Okay, so look at your ColdCard as just storing your keys, storing your security to your Bitcoin. And when you want to actually, if you ever want to send any of your Bitcoin, you can't send it directly from your ColdCard. You need to be able to connect to the internet somehow, some way. So you can either do that via desktop through Sparrow, or you can do that through mobile through Nunchuk. Okay, so this is just holding your keys. This is your privacy. This is, your baby. This is what you want to make sure you're storing your seed phrase in a very secure, I would recommend you to just memorize it in your head. This is your money. This is your funds. You need to take responsibility. We're so used to giving the banks our money and letting them have control. And this is why we're in the situation that we're in right now. So you got to take some ownership. You got to take some responsibility. You got to be a big boy, a big girl, pull your pants up and handle your business, especially when it comes to your finances. This is stuff that's very important. And so, there's steel plates and stuff that you can etch your seed phrase into. Never store it on your phone, never store it on your computer. Don't take pictures of it. Don't store it in the cloud. Don't do none of that goofy stuff. That's how people get got, right? Only the paranoid survive. So Sparrow for desktop, Nunchuk for mobile. They both go in pair with your ColdCard. Okay, so to send out your transactions, you need to use, you could use other wallets out there, but these two work very well. This just came out today, treasuryofsailor.com. This is an accumulation of different articles, different podcasts, different things that Michael Saylor has said since he's been on his journey. If you don't know who Michael Saylor is, he was the former CEO of Strategy. He's a very brilliant, intelligent mind in this space. He's been pushing Bitcoin. He got put on, I think, in 2020-ish or, either 2019, 2020, and then he's been full throttle since. His company Strategy is leading the way for strategic Bitcoin reserve adoption, and he's just been trying to educate the world one podcast, one interview at a time. And these are all the people that, are putting their stamp on it. If you're not familiar with most of these people, they're all big in the Bitcoin space. Senator Cynthia Lummis, she's trying to get the U.S. Strategic Bitcoin Reserve pushed through. You got some big names on here, Lawrence Lepard, VJ, some authors of some great books putting their stamp behind this. But honestly, Saylor don't need no stamp. He don't need any of these people's approval, but it's just still cool to hear what they have to say and them pushing it. It's free. You can go on there and download it. Once you do, you know, you got about 199 pages. So outside of all this stuff, about 190 pages or so of gems and jewels that he's dropped. So go ahead and get that. It's free. You can go through it and, you know, spend some time on this and check it out. Like I said, more knowledge, more power. Don't stop doing the knowledge. Keep reading the books. Keep finding the podcast that you like. Keep figuring out the problem, so that way when you get to the conclusion of the solution, everything makes sense and it's a no-brainer for you. So that's all I got. I'll catch you guys again tomorrow. I'm out.